I'm late to the party again. The reason is because The Division 2 just launched and I have a long history with that game and have been playing it extensively, but I don't think I'll return to being a single game channel ever again. It just isn't something I want to do. So because of that, it's time to discuss the recent controversy regarding Steam and its challenger, the Epic Games Launcher. This topic has been an increasingly active minefield for quite some time. The first thought a lot of people may have is good, it's competition and that will make everything better in the long run. I thought that too. I figured, yeah, both platforms competing will mean they both improve and users have options. But that turns out to be wrong, because how they choose to compete makes all the difference. The war between Steam and Epic is not healthy competition. It's the console war brought to PC. Epic has now made it obvious that their tactic is not to provide a better store or provide a better service. Their goal is to poach popular games and make them exclusive to the platform. They have also taken it a step further and decided to do this at the obvious expense of the consumer. An example like Metro Exodus has become well known, where the game was advertised on Steam, pre-orders were active for months on the Steam platform, and then right before release it made a huge pivot and became a one-year timed exclusive on the Epic Store. This resulted in a review bomb of the previous Metro titles, some disgruntled comments from both fans and developers, and overall a heightened level of unrest within the community. This is also neither the first nor the last instance of such a maneuver. Phoenix Point, a new strategy game from the creators of XCOM, recently made the exact same switch. After promising their fans and backers a Steam key and specifically listing Steam as a platform of sale, they have now become a timed Epic Store exclusive without any warning. The devs behind the project attempted to also do a healthy amount of damage control by offering refunds to anyone who wanted one and free DLC for the first year because of the improved revenue percentage split. But this did not stop the level of unrest from growing, as yet again players found themselves shafted by back-channel exclusivity deals being used with little to no regard for prior agreements or promises. When I cover the Epic Games Launcher, it's pretty clear to anyone listening I disapprove of what they are doing. I took shots at another creator's video a while back when he mistakenly interpreted sales of The Division 2 to have been 6 times higher than the original game, and then attributed that to the Epic Store with the assertion that the players were embracing it. I went a little bit overkill on it, but the point remained true that the numbers actually reflect a distaste with the Epic Store, seeing as the Ubisoft Play Store pre-orders were 6 times higher, but the pre-order totals in general were not even close to that inflated. There is also a perception that some low IQ viewers hold where they believe I hate developers. Why do you hate the devs so much? Cry, cry, cry. Epic gives devs more money. Cry, cry, cry. I don't give a fuck. I don't hate or love developers. They are irrelevant right now because the Epic Store is an inferior platform for the consumer. Full stop. It's true that the Epic Store awards the developers with a higher revenue share percentage, and to mitigate this colossal incentive program, Steam should honestly reformat their own profit share breakdown. But I don't view Epic as bad because it gives more money to development teams. I view it as bad because their methodology for growing is fucking horrible. They have a complete disregard for their customer base to a point where there is no healthy competition at all. Just a new kid on the block who is causing problems. This statement by Epic founder Tim Sweeney perfectly exemplifies their philosophy. Developers will decide who wins the game store war, not consumers. This is emblematic of their stance. They do not care about the user, they care about forcing players to adopt their platform or be unable to play their favorite games for extended periods of time. First of all, this is an extremely low IQ statement. It's right on par with the viewer opinion that I hate developers. You can poach as many games as you want, but if the consumers don't buy the games, both Epic and the developers go out of business. Icarus is flying too close to the sun here. Consumers are the keystone in the retail market. In any buyer-seller relationship, the one with the money has the power. Consumers can be greedy, annoying, horrible people. Absolutely, it happens. It definitely happens. But the saying, the customer is always right, exists for a reason, and Epic Games is intentionally choosing a growth tactic that is detrimental to their core user base. Another interesting point to consider is Tencent, a Chinese holding company that has a 40% stake in Epic Games. That's a lot. It is short of a 51% majority ownership investment, but 40% means Tencent has power over Epic. Significant power. I don't know the intricacies or subtleties of how they exert that undeniable influence, so take that for what you will, but Epic is, in large part, owned by a Chinese company that has no regard whatsoever for gamer experience and quality of life when not tied directly to their bottom line. Of that, we can be absolutely sure. Right alongside this, we now have reports that the Epic Games launcher accesses Steam user data on startup, and that some of that information can be sent to Epic, and all of this is happening in an extremely shady way. Historically, the Epic Store has already had issues with data protection since their privacy policy appears to be in non-compliance with EU user protection legislation. A Reddit post in the Phoenix Point subreddit goes into much more detail, and I am not an expert in this field, but the post paints a detailed picture. It describes how to replicate the results and outlines that user data is being scanned and sent to Epic without informing the users. Now, again, I'm no expert, so if I make mistakes in my terminology here, I apologize, but what I have been able to gather after some research is that Steam has an official API used for interaction with the platform. The Epic launcher has been circumventing this API and gathering data not only without the user's knowledge, but without the knowledge of Valve or Steam. Epic has responded to this with an explanation that there is a tracking pixel for their support a creator program, that they also track page statistics, and that they make copies of user data but only send that data to Epic when the user chooses to import their Steam friends list. Something that, as far as I can tell, has been proven to be false already, since data is being sent regardless of user preferences or selections. Another one of the responses is just, well, this one's golden. Tim Sweeney, again, the founder and controlling interest within Epic Games, stated specifically, "You guys are right that we ought to only access the localconfig.vdf file after the user chooses to import Steam friends. The current implementation is a remnant left over from our rush to implement social features in the early days of Fortnite. It's actually my fault for pushing the launcher team to support it super quickly and then identifying we had to change it. Here's the banger. Since the issue has been pushed to the forefront, we're going to fix it." So basically, oopsie, sorry, because you figured it out and caught us, now we will change it. LOL. There are also dozens of longer threads that outline specifically what is going on with greater technical expertise than I possess and ever probably will, so I will link to them, or a lot of the longer posts at least, in the description down below for anyone who wants to look into all of it themselves. Competition can be good. When contestants compete in an above-board and fairly executed manner, it has wonderful results in a free market economy. But Epic isn't doing that. Epic is choosing to intentionally enact practices and techniques that are detrimental to the consumer base that they wish to bring on board with their platform, and simultaneously, they harvest user data with outdated or remnant implementations in such a way as to bring negative scrutiny upon themselves by both the players that they wish to win over and the opposition they are in conflict with. The console war is something that many gamers will likely be aware of already, exclusives on either PlayStation or Xbox, and deals made between companies that inevitably harm the consumer. And the bottom line is that in an atmosphere of poached exclusivity, the players are the ones who suffer most. In truth, everyone loses, but the players lose out the worst, and we are seeing a perfect mirror image of that console war being brought to life on PC with the Epic Games launcher competing against Steam. The Epic launcher has a roadmap of further features they will be adding and improving upon. That's good to see. A lot of them are really positive. But the foundation of their growth tactic is to corner gamers and force them into using the platform. A methodology that will only win them hatred and frustration. Not to mention the byproduct of excess anger bleeding over to the developers who sign on with them, which, as we have already seen, when handled improperly, can spark a hefty amount of backlash. The Epic Store has its supporters and its detractors. A notable creator named Jim Sterling asserted that Steam's lack of moderation for game certification, which led to a very unsavory game being offered on the platform, is grounds to support Epic. I can understand that point of view. Games may not want to be featured right next to an inflammatory title that is widely regarded as sensational and inappropriate to an extreme, but would a better desire not be for Steam to improve its systems, for Steam to redefine its revenue-sharing agreement to match Epic in terms of percentages, or at least come closer, for Steam to continue to expand and provide a platform that seeks self-improvement rather than encouraging the switch to a shady launcher that has a blatant disregard for the experience of its users by placing forced exclusivity above gamer choice and comfort. Epic accounts have been compromised multiple times already through Fortnite. Tencent has a massive interest in the company, and executives at Epic Games claim that there is no third-party data sharing or selling that occurs, but when has a huge company ever lied before? I wonder. It's not like Volkswagen ever lied for years and created devices to defeat the environmental regulation committees, or it's not like one of the world's largest international banks, HSBC, intentionally modified wire transfer names in order to help move criminal money. Oh wait, that shit did happen, and it does happen. My point is, the Epic launcher has a disregard for its consumers, blatantly, as we've seen already. The idea of competition on a fundamental level is sound, but healthy competition isn't what we are seeing here. We are seeing a one-sided and underhanded attempt at overturning the current market and forcing players to switch to a platform that really brings nothing beneficial to the table at all on the consumer's end. It's cool that the developers get a better revenue percentage split, I guess. That may end up having some kind of trickle-down effects to the consumers in the long run, but as it stands, the PC game store war is full speed ahead and just getting started. That'll pretty much wrap it up. Be aware of what the Epic Store is. It's shady, it's unfinished, it's got questionable ties, and it's resorting to unsavory practices. But it also might be the only place that you can play a game that you thoroughly enjoy in the upcoming months and years. Because Icarus is flying too close to the sun, thinking he can't get burned. One last side note, the support a creator program is really cool, at least from my end. I would actually make a sizable chunk of money if I promoted the Epic Store and my subsequent code, but the store is a worse platform in too many ways to ignore. For those viewers who inevitably cite a bias and claim I have some sort of predisposition to hate Epic because it benefits me to do so, wrong. I would benefit in a direct monetary way from promoting the launcher, but I am not because it's a shit platform that needs to change its approach. That's it though, not much more to say. If you want to support the channel, we have links down below, merchandise, various communities, other things as well, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.